that was one thing that I thought was kind of funny over the past like 10 years. I noticed like a lot of people move away from like surfy music and everybody's either, I'm not bashing anybody, but like playing post punk or hardcore or whatever. And I still listen to surf music all the time, incorporating like those riffs into what we do because we're not a surf band. Surf bands would hate if I said we were.
After 10 years away, Mrs. Magician is back with new music. But aside from a fresh lineup, very little has changed. They're still the same surf-adjacent San Diego band you know and love. The band's new album, Spiritual Hangover, is out May 15th, and I was thrilled to get a chance to chat with singer-songwriter Jacob Turnbloom in my final weeks living in San Diego. And I can't imagine a better way to round out my time there.
Was mine to bear, my albatross to wear nostalgia, terrorizing. I want my MTV, teenage lobotomy, brainwashing my conscience.
I think the last Mrs. Magician record came out in 2016. So what have the last 10 years looked like creatively for you? And I guess the big question is like, why now?
Well, I put out like 2 records in between 2016 and now under my own name. And I just kind of tried to, make something happen with that. And then COVID. And then, we started writing, like trying to do another Mrs. Magician thing. And it was just, I think everybody was just, taking a little break. Everybody in the band has kids except for me. So everybody's a little bit more busy. And then, our band kind of like fractured and frazzled, for a little bit there. And I kind of picked up everything and just recorded like the record with kind of a new band. But the people that I'm playing with are like people that have been like touring with Mrs. Magician in the past, for a long time. Like our drummer Drew has done like a lot of tours with us. John Reese, who plays guitar on the record, like puts out our records, and my buddy Ian plays on it. So it's kind of like a newer thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just was like tired of like putting out records under my own name, and that's like a little bit more like experimental. I use keyboards more. It's like more noisy and slow. So like I just wanted to make like another rock and roll record and try to go play some shows like as Mrs. Magician, because it's kind of always been like my main songwriting vessel since like 2010, and wanted to get kind of back to it, and like a lot of people ask me about it, so it's also just something that like is always on my mind.
Yeah. So pretty similar sound to the last couple albums, and then also the fact that the members who are in the band currently, I know there was a little bit of a shuffle, but they've all played with Mrs. Magician in the past.
Everybody on the record, no.
Okay.
But they've kind of been affiliated. Like, so Drew, the drummer, on the record, he's like toured with us a bunch in the past.
Right.
And his cousin, Mark, plays bass, and they're in like a really great rock and roll band, kind of like a legendary rock and roll band here in San Diego called The Setch. And they've all been in a million. We've just been playing shows together for a long time. And then John, who puts out all the records, I've played on his records. It's just kind of like been like a, quid pro quo type of situation where like you play on my stuff, I'll play on yours. But we're all, just homies. So like he's never played guitar on any of the stuff. So it's like kind of a new band, but I mean everything really is like this. It's all the same influences, the same, group of people. Like everybody plays rock and roll music in this group. Like all of our bands are kind of like grown up playing similar styles.
Yeah.
So the influences are kind of the same, like undertones and Vaselines and the Sonics and stuff like that. But we all, we went to a really cool recording studio to try to get like a big rock and roll sound, like more like Tom Petty, like kind of like a, not so garagey and rough, like something like lush and a little bit more ambitious. So yeah, new band. And Tommy, the guitar player that started the band with me, he helped write one song on this record, so it's kind of there's a little bit of the old flavor or whatever.
Sure, yeah. So, what made you want to give it more of a professional sort of edge, going to a different studio, giving it sort of a more polished sound? Would I be right to say that?
Well, I think like I mean, our two studio records, I think we went to good recording studios here. So it's like they're recorded well. They're not like lo-fi or anything like that. I think we wanted to like, we picked a specific studio for a specific drum sound. And that's like, we went out to achieve like a very specific thing.
Mm.
And we did. It was like we wanted to rip off the drum sound from Damn the Torpedoes, the Tom Petty record, and we went to Studio 606 to achieve that on that like big Neve console, and used the same mic configurations and drum heads, and kind of wanted to have like a our punk record that we wanted to make, but like with that sound, like a 70s power pop, hi-fi but tape sound, because like I think the whole idea was to try to make something that was a little bit like anti-AI, because everything is so disgusting with AI nowadays.
Yeah.
Not like really like it just, that was always in the back of our minds. We wanted to do something real, practice, get really good, and go to a nice recording studio and try to emulate these records that were classic to us.
Of course. After being to that studio, recording it, deciding on the type of sound that you want, what's something that stands out to you that you've learned over the last, few years of writing for this album, and then being on the back end of the recording process? Is there something that stands out that you've learned about yourself or your process, or maybe the collaborative nature of the group?
I think just from making two records on my own, in between our record that we put out in 2016, Bermuda, I put out two records, just one recording here in my apartment and then one across the street at a recording studio. And it's just way harder to do stuff. I mean, it's satisfying, but it's just way harder to do stuff by yourself. And you also get like, I myself get way too wrapped up in like a million different melodies and trying to cram as many ideas as I can into a song. And I think this was like an exercise to try to like do way less, even though there is a lot crammed into these songs. Like, I think I just tried to like lean more on other musicians and play up their strengths. Mark Rivera, who plays bass on this, he's just such an amazing like bass player. I kind of was like, gave him the meat and the potatoes of the songs and was like, just kind of have fun making this bouncy, and like kind of told him a few records that we were going for. Like, we were like, oh, make it like Joe Jackson, or make it like Elvis Costello, kind of fun and bouncy, like power pop bass lines, and just like let him play what he wanted to play. And then our drummer Drew is an amazing drummer. It was just like way more collaborative writing. Like, I feel like the songs were basically there, but in the past we would collaborate, but I feel like I would always kind of like be a little more aggressive with my ideas, and that's not always sometimes to my detriment.
Yeah. You've been wanting to do more with this project, but just sort of waiting for the right time. And I know that at least as far back as 2021, you were sort of hinting at a new album for the band. And so how old is like the oldest song on this record, or did you write all of them pretty recently?
So there's a song on there that's like a slow kind of ballady song, and that was really the one song that we had.
Okay.
It was like a fragment of a song, and I'm like, okay. And I was just kind of like trying to like inspire, the musicians around me and get people talking or whatever. But we really only had like that and like one idea that Tommy had, and that was that song ended up on the record too. And yeah, we didn't really have a lot back then. It was just kind of like trying to like excite people and get stuff going. But then once things start going, then life happens and things just get in the way. So we've been wanting to do something, I think, since 2020, but it's just, I hate to blame COVID, but I mean, like, that's like a huge, it just kind of ruined a lot.
Yeah, it's an easy excuse, but it's the truth. So
yeah,
it happened with a lot of bands.
You have like, I put a record out like in 2019 and went on tour. And as soon as I went on tour for that record, like COVID hit, and it was just back to the drawing board, Yeah.
And I did have some questions about your solo work. With those two albums that you released, it was one in 2019 and one in 2021, I believe. Is that right?
It's 2022.
Okay, my mistake. You talked about it a little bit. So aside from like playing all of the instruments yourself, or at least trying to get most of it done yourself, in what ways would you say your creative process is different in your solo work versus the work that you do with Mrs. Magician?
It's not very different. I mean, like, in just this is more of like a band type thing, where
Yeah,
I have the songs and bring them to a group of people, and we're like, all right, let's power through these and actually like flush everything out and throw away stuff and kind of help me guide through it. But solo stuff, I just like, and I drank. I mean, I just don't really drink anymore, and I feel like during COVID and writing that record, I was just like sitting and like not being very healthy and like just like obsessing over music in my apartment. And so that writing process was not as fun. It was
yeah,
just like so this has been a lot more fun. Like I had those two songs like early in 2020, but then like I said, like a couple years later, once I kind of got a band together, we just like, I don't know, like I just started writing really fast. So like the first Mrs. Magician record and like the second like we have like a second record that's not like a studio album, but there's a lot of songs in there, demos and stuff.
yeah,
That was like, those were all written in a really short period of time. So sometimes I get like creative bursts, and that kind of happened with this, where it was like as soon as we got the right people and I was happy and we're all getting along, like the songs kind of just started coming out really easy. So I think I have to be like in a good place to start being more creative and getting the good stuff out.
yeah. And you mentioned John Reese as a collaborator on this album, local legend. Obviously, it's being released through his own label. You obviously have a long-standing relationship with him and with Swami Records. Can you speak a little bit to how that relationship came about?
Yeah, our buddy McHank. I don't know if do you know McHank? He's a pretty famous name around here in San Diego.
I don't think so.
He's just a champion of San Diego music, and like in 2011 he gave John one of our records, and then he was like, oh, do you guys want to like, we went and met for coffee one day, and we kind of like toyed with the idea of like doing something, and then it just kind of slowly built into like us hanging out and then deciding to do a record together. And but those two records that we did with him, like he was like heavily involved, like producing and picking the recording studios and like really like being like, he doesn't like touch any knobs or anything. He's not like an engineer, but he's like Ben Moore, who works with him on almost every record. He was with us, and they kind of like steered the ship on this new one. He it's like I just wanted him to be a part of it in performing, and he like our bass player Mark, I just kind of had him come in, listen to the songs, and just like free flow on top of them,
Yeah.
But he didn't produce this, and he didn't really have like that same kind of like guiding hand as he did on those previous records.
Mm-hmm.
But we always, I mean, like I live right across the street from a recording studio called Singing Serpent, so like I've sang on the last like 3 records he's put out. So he just is like, hey, come over and work on this, and I'll do the same thing. I'm like, hey, you come over and work, because we recorded the same spot. Like I did a lot of this record at 606, like in LA, but then I did the rest of it here. So yeah, we've been like good buddies since 2011. So
Wow.
It's been a fun relationship.
Yeah.
Creatively.
Living across the street from a studio, you don't really have any excuses, to not come out and help with something.
Yeah, no, and I also live like across, like right on this corner, there's a venue. So anytime my friends are in town playing there, I can't really say I can't go, because I can like see them from the window.
Yeah.
I can look over and I'm just like standing there. So yeah, it's kind of, there's not a lot of excuses.
No. Well, at least you can leave at the last possible second.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. While we're on the topic of San Diego, you've had some play on 91X recently, which for people who don't know, it's just a fantastic local radio station. That's actually how I found out that you guys are making music again. I was like, this is crazy.
Right.
Yeah. It just sort of begs the question, how much, obviously you're very tied into the local scene here. You know a lot of people, your stuff's being played on local radio. How much of your identity as a band or as a musician do you think is tied to, where you're from?
Oh man, every time I think of like bands, I was just thinking about like I'm. If you ever go on TikTok, all I ever talk about is San Diego music, and I was like thinking about San Diego bands today, and I was like, oh, Waves, they're like not really like a San Diego band because they're like massive, you know, they like
Right.
moved and like, but I think of us as like we're just like we're here, like you know, we're not going anywhere. This is like our hub, and I don't mean that to say like Waves isn't a San Diego band. I mean like he's
Sure.
much bigger, you know, but like I just like this is our identity, you know. I love San Diego. I mean, on the record, I have like Shotgun Tom Kelly, who's like famous radio DJ I grew up with, and 91X I grew up with. You know, it's like the where I first heard any alternative music when I was growing
Yeah.
up, and I think that's rad that you actually like heard about this from that because how often do people hear about new music stuff from radio?
Seriously,
I'm
yeah.
like I'm a big radio guy. I worked at a radio station for a while. Yeah, I just love it here. I mean, I'm just like that's kind of my bread and butter. I bother people about San Diego music all the time.
That's so great to have been, spoiled by such a good radio station growing up. I'll be moving away from here in the next few months, unfortunately, and 91X is going to be one of the biggest things that I miss because it's like one of the only good radio stations I feel like that's left, at least in this area.
Yeah, we used to have a really good one called 94.9 that was 92.1 and it was like super alternative and like even like the rock radio station now 105.3 that's like kind of whatever. I love all radio, so I don't want to bash any radio station,
Yeah.
but like they used to be back in the day, Rock 102.3, I think there, and it was like the best like heavy metal like rock music. You know, it was like I love metal music too, so it's just that we've had a really great like local like radio scene here, and if you look at like old Megadeth documentaries, they wear like San Diego radio station shirts and hats and stuff like that. So
That's so cool.
it's definitely harder now, but and we've done like 91X fests and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
people still love 91X like a lot. So it's rad.
I love the lore. I feel like I'm just scratching the surface here. I'm learning so much, but I got to check out your TikTok.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying, but it's informative sometimes.
Yeah. Speaking of like radio play, you've got a couple singles from the album out at this point. One of which was on 91X. What would you say? Is there a currently unreleased song from the album that you're like really excited for people to hear?
I am. Yeah, there's one that we were like trying to make a video for, and it's called Public Meltdown. It's just got a lot of like weird surfy riffs in it. I think like that was one thing that I thought was kind of funny over the past like 10 years. I noticed like a lot of people move away from like surfy music and everybody's either, I'm not bashing anybody, but like playing post punk or hardcore or whatever.
Yeah.
And I still listen to surf music all the time. So it's just like I love incorporating like those riffs into what we do because we're not a surf band. Surf bands would hate if I said we were, but I love like that kind of those tones, those guitar tones, those amps, like so I just like love inserting that all over, and that's one song in particular that's always like there's a guitar riff in there that's just like a little like earworm that I'm super proud of that I want people to hear. And it's a funny song.
Yeah, I can imagine a video for a song called Public Meltdown would be pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not like when you hear the lyrics, like you understand any narrative or
No.
anything. It's just, it's I think it's funny because when the songs are never like about one specific thing, but I
Right.
can, oh yeah, I remember what I was writing about when I did this, and it makes me laugh.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, what other people get out of it. I know that's always just kind of a cool thing to discover.
Oh
so.
yeah, it's not yours anymore.
Right. Here's just a fun piece of Mrs. Magician trivia that I wanted to ask about. I read that, well, your wife sings backup vocals on Dead Alive. Is it true that you met during a recording session where she was singing backup vocals for you on another track?
Yeah, I hired her. It sounds weird, but I had her record on one song. I was looking for a backing vocalist that was like a very specific type of singer, and I couldn't find it. And one day I just like, how you get like friend suggestions on Facebook?
Yeah.
She had a song on Facebook and she was a friend suggestion. It was like this beautiful like country song, but her vocals kind of had that. Have you heard the Babies or like, it's a very
Yeah.
like straight vocal, and like flooded in reverb, and I'm like, that's what I want, kind of a dreamy like. And yeah, and then I had her record, and then that was when we met, like when she came to the recording studio. So like the first recording we have of that song on the record is like when we first met, and we were like singing together. So it's very like romantic.
That's so cool to have that as an artifact.
For sure, yeah. I mean, like we tell everybody about it. It's like,
Yeah.
why not?
And your voices do sound great together. I didn't. I obviously I heard the song before I learned that, and so reading that I was like, wow, perfect.
Yeah, I mean, we sing here all the time. Like during COVID, we were just like constantly like putting up songs, and we annoy our neighbors. So are you like doing school out here or something? Or are you like?
No, I'm in the Navy. I'm a public affairs officer, and I've been here for about 2 years now, and I've loved it. But I'm coming to the end of my tour. So,
Yeah. What's your favorite like pizza place here?
A few weeks ago, I tried Bronx Pizza in Mission Hills.
That's probably my favorite place. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it was great. I walked in there and I was like, "Wait, is there just the one size?" And he was like, "Yep." And I was like, "All right, easy."
Yeah, I like cash, and they're kind of rude, but it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, like rude in the way you want a pizza place to be, like a little surly.
Oh,
and
totally.
The pizza's great. TNT is really good too. Have you gone downtown to try TNT pizza?
I have to try it before I leave.
They're all like musicians too. They're all
Oh.
in like really good bands, like the guys who run that place.
Okay,
Um,
cool. Yeah, there used to be like I think it was called Basic Pizza. That was pretty good, but I think that's gone now.
yeah, man, they pop up and then they leave.
They were too basic.
What's your favorite record store here? I just want to know these things. I don't know why.
No, yeah. I've checked out a lot, but M Theory is definitely my favorite, I would say.
I worked there like 20 years ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's cool. So you've got a show coming up May 8th right here at Soda Bar, and that's going to be following 2 shows in LA and Oakland. So when was the last time that you guys played regular shows? Not necessarily toured, but when you were like, gigging regularly.
We did like 3 shows with the Aquabats, like opening up for the Aquabats in like 2023.
Okay.
Right after that, we just kind of stopped. So it was, yeah, it feels like a lifetime ago, but it wasn't that long ago. But yeah, and before that, I mean, since 2016, we were kind of just doing like a show a year. We did like, so we basically were touring pretty heavily from like 2012 to 2016, and then kind of we had like a big festival we were supposed to do in like Spain and the UK, and then when that all came crashing down, we kind of just like stopped. It took the wind out of our sails pretty much. But shit happens.
Well, there's still a chance.
I mean,
There's
I don't know. We just want to play. So like the shows that are coming up are like our friend Alex. He's in a band called Weird Nightmare, and he was in a band called Mets that we used to do shows with back in the day. And they're great, and he's great, and it's just 2 shows. We were supposed to do a longer tour, but like everything's so expensive now. I don't know how bands do it. Everybody must be rich or have rich parents or something, because I have no idea.
It's so cool that you're friends with him. I'm going to his show on the 25th, 24th. Yeah, he's playing Soda Bar, right?
He is. We were supposed to play that, but it's like we have a release show the following month. It just didn't work out. I wish we could play that, but
that's too bad. Yeah, I'm really excited for that show.
Yeah, they're a great band.
Yeah. Ever since I heard, obviously Metz is great, but ever since I heard his solo stuff, I'm like, wow, it's like a little more poppy. It's so good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge Metz fan, so like I knew I was going to like it, but I was like, oh, wow, it's kind of like fuzzy and dreamy, and
yeah.
Like it's nice to see like these other sides of these people that I'm like, I figured it was going to be like this really heavy project, but I'm like, oh, this is really beautiful.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Are you going to be at that show? Obviously, you're going to be playing with them, so I guess there's really no need.
I think we're honestly like playing like a secret show that night to try to like get because we have to play we're playing on the 25th with them in LA, so we're just going to like play somewhere in San Diego that nobody knows about and try to get the kinks worked out before we like play in front of people that actually know who we are, That's
a great plan.
Yeah. We usually do that, and it's always like more fun than actually playing those shows, because it's like you're playing with bands that you should not be playing with, or that you have no business playing with,
Yeah. You can have like a bunch of friends come out and stuff.
Yeah, so it should be good. So I won't be at that show. I wish I could, but I'll see him the next night and the next night.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are really excited for this comeback with you guys. I've already read a couple articles, reviews of the singles you put out. So I guess what more can you say about sort of your plans for the future of Mrs. Magician, and is there anything more in store, I guess, aside from a secret show to look forward to?
I mean, I think we're just kind of dipping our toes back in to see like what the reaction is or response because I had talked to a few people that were trying to get us on like these really long tours, and I was like,
Yeah.
dude, we cannot do that right now. We gotta like, because I mean, I don't even know if anybody's gonna show up to these shows. It's always like in the back of my mind. Um, so it's like I'm just interested to see how these are gonna go. Hopefully, I think they're gonna go fine, but like I'm always just a little hesitant to like dive in super hardcore. So I mean, I don't know. We're taking it slow.
Yeah.
See like how this goes. I did put a lot of effort into making two stupid videos though. So
It's a good idea to be just testing the waters a little bit, trying to, sort of gear up and play some shows, seeing how it feels, especially with like, you've played with some of these people before, but maybe not with, the same combination of people at the same time. So I think it's a good approach.
it actually like I think all kind of comes down to just like availability and it's hard to plan tours because everybody's just
Oh, yeah.
I mean gas is crazy but just like people are just so busy nowadays so it's and everybody kind of wants to help with this band here in town so it's like everybody's like oh I'll be in it for this tour or I'll join in for this tour so it's like there's a lot of support here but it's definitely like kind of like okay who can do it when can we do it and so I think this initial thing is like just seeing the response for these initial shows and the record when it comes out, and then maybe we'll plan like a bigger tour or go to play East Coast again or something.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean I do miss playing like out in because we've done so many runs up the coast. I'd like to
Yeah.
go back to the East Coast and explore the Midwest again.
Do you have like a favorite venue that you've played that's not in San Diego?
Oh yeah, lots. I think there's a spot called the Bottle Tree in Birmingham, Alabama, that was owned by the drummer of Man or Astro Man, and that place was like all the bands when you play there, you could sleep in these trailers. They give you socks,
Oh.
they give you Q-tips. They like it was just a great venue. And then like when we played, the drummer for Man or Astro Man's like, hey, come back to my house and you guys could all get food and take showers and stuff. And he had this shower with like 10 shower heads. And that's just like what sticks out in my mind. I feel like that's like that venue was so cool, but I think they shut that place down. And
Oh.
Bottom of the Hill in San Francisco is like my all-time favorite place to play outside. We played there like 5 times and it's always great.
Yeah. Okay, so now, your favorite San Diego venue to play at, and then I'm also curious your favorite San Diego venue to see a show at if they're not the same.
Well, I have like I'm always gonna have allegiance to Soda Bar because
Okay.
Corey, the owner of Soda Bar, played in every Mrs. Magician record, and then Tommy does sound there. So I just love everybody there. And then our drummer Drew now is like part owner of Soda Bar. So we've just kind of like that place is like infused like Mrs. Magician. We're kind of like ensconced or whatever.
Yeah.
But Dusty, who did all the artwork for our records, all the artwork at Soda Bar is his. So I just feel like that's like part of us. But that's my favorite place, I think, to see a show,
Uh-huh.
and I love everybody there. But to play, I really like playing at I like playing at the Belly Up Tavern.
It's a great spot.
I've always liked playing Soma, but I mean I haven't been there in forever. It feels like I don't know, the place is weird. I did like playing there though. Good sound.
It is a little weird. That's good to hear that the sound is good.
Soma's changed like a lot. There's like where it is now, it used to be in a different location. Then before that,
Yeah.
it was at a different location. But it's always been like the sound has always been good there. But it's just had a weird. It's just a weird place. I do like it. I'm not talking smack, but yeah,
Weird in a good way.
yeah,
That's so cool. And I never knew that about Soda Bar.
yeah. Soda's like special for us. And there's a lot of Mrs. Magician posters all over. When you go there, you'll see them, and maybe it'll all the puzzle pieces will start to fit.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out again.
Yeah, it's great to see what they turned it into, because it was like a little dive, and then they just really built it up. And Corey's an amazing a booker, you know. So it's just been rad to see it grow over the years.
And it's insane, like the difference a good booker can make.
For sure. And he's just a good, they're all just good people. It's just a good spot, man. They're all good dudes.
Awesome. I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Life is a masquerade and every hour wastes away. Puke up my destiny, this life will be the death of me.
Spiritual Hangover, Mrs. Magician's first record in 10 years, is out on Friday, May 15th. So take a listen when it drops, and if you have a chance to see them play, I say take it. As a bonus, if you're looking to visit San Diego, take this interview as a travel guide from a real local. You can easily fill a weekend with what we talked about here. For more interviews with other cool bands, visit youngsteryear.com, follow this project on Instagram @youngsteryear, and listen to these interviews anywhere podcasts are available. That's all for now. Hope you enjoyed, and thank you for listening.